All right, so I am going to just commit this work so far. Public index. What did I do here? Yep, added the card model. And set the app element. So I really like to use patch commits, which is the -p flag, or like -- patch when you're doing Git. I do Git entirely from the command line because that's how I learned it. And yeah, every time I use a GUI, I just get confused. So I just really like to stick with the command line. I write out all my commands too, which is like, I'm pretty sure I have like in my dot files. Where are my dot files? Dot files. Where are they on this computer? Dots. I don't know. I don't know where my dot files went. They're here. I don't remember what folder I put them in. I symlinked them somewhere. Anyways, in my dot files, I have like all these Git aliases set up, but I just never use them. I feel like when I go to another machine and I don't have my dot files, like I don't want to have all these aliases and have forgotten like the actual commands. So, and I'm a fast typer anyways, so it just never bothers me. And plus with like tab completion, like I can write git commit, com tab, and it's going to tab complete for me. So anyways, I use patch commits here because I feel like a lot of people would just add everything. They would like git add dot, and they would say like add Kanban card, But this whole time I talked through like all these decisions that I made. Like why did I put this modal set app element here? And I feel like if you are somebody who's coming back to this repository at a later time and you see this here, you're like, huh, why did they do that? And you can see here, like I've got this, I don't know, it's like the default Git plugin for VS Code. So it gives you like who changed lines and gives you information about them. So we can see here, like I committed this 4 months ago. My commit message was update to TypeScript. So the point here is like we want to have a commit message that tells the person like why this change was made. So if the commit message here, like we added everything and we just said commit this, like add the React modal, Kanban card modal, and that's all that we said. There's no context. Like what you've done is you've in your commit message explained the what. You've said like this is what I'm doing. I'm adding a Kanban card modal, but you didn't explain why. And the what is already evident. Like if we look at our git diff, if I look at the cache git diff, here's the what. I mean, that's what Git does. It tells you what happened. This line was added, this line was added, this line was added. The point of the commit message is for you to say, why did this happen? Why did you add these lines? What was the purpose of putting this in this file rather than in your Kanban, file or whatever like that? So by using patch, I can stage changes individually. Like I can say like, it kind of automatically splits things up into what they call hunks. And I can say like, do I want to stage this change? And I can say, yes, no, quit, all. I don't even know what some of these other ones do. I've never even used them. I've used edit sometimes, and split. So like if they, like here, like if we've got kind of two changes here and I could hit S and it'll split it up. So now it's like, okay, I only want to stage this change and not this one. So I can hit S to split it up. At a certain point though, Git can't split it up anymore. But you can do E, the edit command, and then you can like manually go in and like create edit diffs. But I really don't try to do that too often. It's a lot of work, so it's only if I really, really care about something and I want to like edit it. Anyways, I don't want to stage anything else. I just want to stage this stuff that's cached right now, and I want to give it a good commit message. So I want to say, add it. So let's see. We want to say, what about this? Like why we did this change for the Kanban card element. Created for React modal to attach to. Set accessibility modal.set app element is called is called to tell where the model is located. This required us to create a div outside of our React root, and this required us to create a div outside of our React root to hold the modal. And then let's see here. We placed set app element in our top level app file so that we only need to set it once. And I guess like I called this Kanban modal, and technically like if we created some other modal, I don't know, other modal, like maybe I want to have another modal div. And so actually like I should probably just call this modal, because we can just reuse this unless there's like a concept that you want to mount at the same time. But typically with modals, you don't really ever want to do that. So I should probably just call this like modal, but this is kind of like our namespace anyways, because it's like a Kanban board. Maybe I should call it like CPS modal. So maybe I'll make that change in a second here. So we place set out in top level file so that we only need to set it once and not worry about calling it for every modal component we create. All right, so there's my commit message. And like notice how much like there's 3 lines of code, but like big old commit message here. But the point is like somebody who like looks at this now can see this commit message. You know, they can like dive into this and wonder like, you know, why they changed this, and they can like view the Git history of it. So yeah, they could like dive in and like look at this whole commit message and see like, hey, why did they do this? It's all right here, rather than like all of these changes being staged together in like one commit message, like add cam add card. So anyways, so I actually want to change this to just be our namespace because I want to reuse this modal every time. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the public HTML file, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to change it to CPS. And CPS is just like the name of the client that I'm working for. So not Child Protective Services, but it kind of like reminds me of that whenever I read it or see it, but it's not that. So, okay, so we did that. And now if I look at this change here, let's add those again. So add public index.html and our app source. Add that. I'm going to git commit amend. No edit. Now, what that did is it took my previous commit that I had made, and it just made, like, it basically pushed the changes right into this same commit. And I said no edit. Like, nothing about this commit message referenced that specific modal ID, because, again, that's like a what thing and not a why thing, so I don't need to mention it explicitly. And, yeah. And so nothing about this message needed to be edited, so I can just use the, no edit command, and that basically says, hey, just merge the changes in, don't make a change. If I didn't do edit, it'll open up like an editor here, and I'll be able to like say, I don't know, I'll be able to make changes to this thing if I want to, but I don't want to. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm gonna push up that change, or I'm gonna wait to push up my changes until I stage all this. So let's go through the rest of it. So this is more like passing this function through. Let's add this first. Components, Kanban card modal, add stub, Kanban card modal component. And then let's add the rest of it. I did make some changes here that were like unrelated. I was just like deleting some things as I saw them. I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. I could like split it up and make a separate commit for them, but I just don't think that it's worth it. So add this, add this, add this, add this, add this, add this, add this. Okay, so add all this stuff. So this is kind of like the rest of it, and this is like wiring up the Kanban card mode. So wire up Kanban card mode to open on Kanban card click. Okay, so now that's like the title of our commit, like, you know, kind of like the what for this commit, and now we want to talk about some specific whys. We memoize the open modal function because it is located at the top of our tree and needs to be prop drilled down through multiple components. We don't want the, let's see, we don't want the function to be recreated every time board component re-renders and cause a re-render the entire app tree. Okay. Yeah, I think that was the only like thing that really needed to be documented. Like, why did we use callback on this but not on the close? Like, the close is not. So maybe I'll just make that note. The close modal function does not affect any subtrees, so we leave that unmemoized. So we leave that unmemoized. Because like we could memoize this in the same way, you know, use callback, but the problem is there's a cost to memoization. React has to do like a bunch of stuff when you use callback, and you have to allocate this array and, you know, everything like that. So it's like a function call, it's an array allocation, and then like all the stuff that use callback does. So it's actually probably slower to use callback in this case. Like, the JavaScript V8 engine is very fast at creating these functions. We use them all the time. And yeah, and so there's just not much of a cost to like recreating this on every render. And honestly, like, even though it recreates, it doesn't mean that this component is going to like actually be updated in the DOM. So so yeah, so I just like feel like we don't need to worry about it. All right, finish that. Gut. I type gut a lot. All right, so we'll push that up. Cool. So now we've got our working modal. Well, stub down modal. So a few changes that I want to make. I want to make this background color different. I kind of want to make it more like this thing, like a darker background. So let's see if we can tweak that. So Kanban card modal. There's some way to tweak the background colors of this thing. I don't remember how. Style, custom styles. API reference. Examples. Demos. CSS classes for styling. There we go. Okay, modal. Background color papaya whip. Where do they put that CSS? Class name modal. Yep, okay. So this should be a papaya whip? Yeah. All right, cool. Close modal. All right, so I think that I can just do this. Background color. This is a bit awkward, like, don't really know how to do this yet, but like Tailwind, I can't really, wait, can I just do this instead? I just do class name equals BG Indigo 700. Let's just see if that works. Let's go back to our tracker. Let that reload. Okay. What did that do? I like lost my square. I no longer see my square. What? Okay, let's click this. Wait, click this and open it. All right, React modal body open. Here's this thing. Opacity 0. Okay. What? I should really get rid of this comment, shouldn't I? Probably no. I guess actually no. This will all get stripped out when React optimizes. Why is this not setting background color? I don't even see the class, like the class name. It's not up here. Okay, so let's go back and remove that. Let's see what this color is. Background color, RGB. Can I do CSS variables like this? Anyways, let's try it. Because it's one, we actually don't even need this. Don't need the RGBA part. And let's put this in quotes. Cool. And background color. And get rid of this. Okay, let's let this re-render and see if that works. Like assigning it directly to the styles. Alright. What happened? Where'd my app go? Sometimes the Webpack on a refresh doesn't work. Oh, background color of the modal. No, I want the overlay background. I want the overlay background. Overlay. Rebecca Purple. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so how do they assign that? Where do they assign overlay class name? Okay, all right. You know, just things, right? Just things. All right, overlay class name equals BG indigo 700. All right, let's try that. Let's see what happens. That does not seem to have done what I thought it was going to do. Overlay class name. Why is that not applying? Like, does that make any sense? Also, my modal's not closing. Like, I don't know what happened here, but this thing like just stopped. All right, so if I do this, where's this thing like actually? Where's this overlay? Right here. React Modal Portal. It's like an inline style. So I wonder if I can even override it. Like class name equals BG. I want my Tailwind styles to work. Oh, it's not going to work because of that. BG. Oh, we'll just do black, like just to make sure that it's like working. Oh, BG black. Okay, so we'll reload this. Click here. Here's my portal. Here's my overlay. Oh, interesting. Look at that. BG black. So it's being applied, but like if we notice, I guess it's overriding all the default styles that they apply to this overlay, maybe? Yeah, like all this stuff is like gone. Modal.styles. I need to see what the modal.styles are. Overlay. So let's try that. Overlay. Let's get all these back in. Cool. Alright. Let's see if that like fixes. Okay, we have a type error. String is, oh yeah, alright. That's fixed. Okay, so what happened there is I assigned this position as fixed, and CSS is saying like, oh no, this position property, we don't expect it to say to be a string. We expect it to be like one of fixed or absolute or whatever. So, or relative. It wants one of those specific strings. When you create a string in TypeScript though, like TypeScript has no idea that this fixed is like, you want it to be like interpreted exactly as a string with these letters in it. So it does this thing. It's like, I guess what you want position to be is a string. So we have to do something called type narrowing. So here I'm just going to say as fixed, and I'm going to say like, I want this to be exactly a string with the word fixed in it. And so that narrows the type to that, and it's going to match what the style is expecting. So let's refresh here. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, see, when I added that overlay class name, it removed all the default styles, I guess, that React Modal created. So now if I actually give this something that's like not terrible, let's try Indigo. I don't know exactly what color to make this, so I'm just gonna, we're gonna do this. We're gonna, so that is like way too much, right? We really want something that's kind of see-through and like not that harsh. So let's see here. So let's see like what happens if I add an opacity here of 0.6. So that's like not bad, but we really want like maybe a different color. So let's go here and just edit things. So what if we had 500? What if we had 400? Okay, and then maybe this is like 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 0.8. I'm just kind of playing around with the, if this was 200. Thing is, I don't want the content itself here to have any opacity to it. So just want to see opacity 1. That did not do anything. Oh wait, it already has opacity 1. I don't know why I can see through it then. Because if I take off this opacity, like it hides everything. It's not necessarily what we want. 300 feels like a little bit too not enough. 400 feels good though. Yeah. Okay, so let's do 400. And let me figure out what the default style was for this opacity thing. Like when you use React Modal, if we take off this overlay for a second here and refresh it, and we're going to click once it reloads. Cool, reload. Okay. Let's see what they assign here. So they do a background color with an RGBA instead of using opacity. So maybe we just need to do that. How do I change the opacity in Tailwind? Tailwind CSS. Opacity. Background opacity. BG opacity 75. Okay, so let's try that. So let's do overlay class name, BG indigo 400, BG opacity, what was it? I have it on my clipboard, 75. All right, let's try that. So this is the part of like front end development that is like so time consuming. It's like, how long am I spending? So now we don't have this like overlay effect here. How long am I spending, you know, getting this this coloring right? You know, it's like, is it? It's like not really value add here. Like we could have just done the initial style. That's probably better. hides it out. It's still like kind of that gray looking thing, but it has just a tinge of the, primary color that we're doing here, this indigo. So that's probably better. Okay.